Lock your doors, pull your blinds, and listen to me as if your life depends on it, because the financial life you knew is effectively over. What we discussed yesterday, the banks declaring force majeure and refusing to give you your silver, was just the trailer. The horror movie is starting right now. I have just seen a document that was leaked from the dark corridors of Washington, D.C., a document that is currently sitting on a desk in the West Wing of the White House, waiting for a signature. For years, the sheep have said that the government protects us, that the FDIC protects our deposits, that the state is the ultimate guarantor of our wealth. That is the biggest lie ever told. The state is not there to save you. The state is stepping in to save the banks, and to do that, they have selected you as the sacrifice. The document I am holding does not say Investor Protection Act. It carries a title that echoes the darkest days of the Great Depression. It is a modern draft of the infamous Executive Order 6102. It is a confiscation order. You need to understand what this means. This is not a drill. This is not a theory. This means that under the guise of a national emergency, under the pretext that we are at war with East Asia and need strategic materials for our missiles and our chips, the government is preparing to make it illegal for you to own physical silver. They are preparing to criminalize your wealth. If you bought your silver with a credit card, if you bought it online, if you left a digital footprint, I have bad news for you. You are already on the list. The hunt has officially begun. Let's go back to 1933, because you cannot understand the present if you do not understand the crime of the past. Franklin D. Roosevelt, the man they teach you to worship in history class, committed the greatest act of theft in American history. On April 5, 1933, he didn't ask the American people for their gold. He didn't offer to buy it at a fair price. He demanded it. He issued an executive order that said all gold coins, gold bullion, and gold certificates owned by individuals must be turned in to the Federal Reserve. If you refused, if you were caught hiding a few gold coins in your mattress to protect your family from the Depression, the penalty was 10 years in federal prison and a $10,000 fine. That fine, adjusted for inflation, is over $200,000 today. They turned prudent savers into felons overnight.
Why did they do it? They told the public it was to stop hoarding. They said that greedy citizens were stalling the economic recovery by hiding money. That was a lie. The truth was that the government was bankrupt. They had printed too much paper money, and the world was demanding gold in exchange. The government didn't have the gold, so they stole it from the citizens. They forced you to sell your gold to them for $20 an ounce. And once they have all the gold, once it was safely locked away in Fort Knox, they revalued the price to $35 an ounce. They instantly devalued the paper money in your pocket by 70% and kept the profit for themselves. It was a wealth transfer of epic proportions. Today, history is not just repeating itself, it is rhyming with a terrifying precision. But this time, the target is not just gold, the target is silver. You might ask, why silver? Why would they care about my tube of silver eagles? Because in 1933, the world ran on gold. Today, the world runs on technology, and technology runs on silver. The United States military is currently facing a crisis that they are terrified to admit publicly. We are running out of the strategic metals needed to fight a modern war. A Tomahawk cruise missile contains roughly 15 kilos of silver. A torpedo contains silver-zinc batteries. The entire satellite grid, the eyes and ears of the Pentagon, depends on silver-coated contacts. The F-35 fighter jet, the most expensive weapon system in history, is a flying computer that cannot function without silver. And where does that silver come from? For the last 30 years, we bought it from the market. We bought it from China. We bought it from Mexico. We assumed the supply would always be there, but as we established in my previous reports, that supply chain is dead. China has cut us off, the mines are tapped out, the vaults are empty. So, the Pentagon has a problem. They have a war to fight, or at least a war to threaten, but they don't have the metal to build the bullets. Do you think they're going to say, oh well, I guess we can't build missiles? No. They're going to look at the only remaining stockpile of silver in the world, and that stockpile is in your safe. It is in your basement. It is in your private vault. To them, you are not a citizen saving for retirement. You are a strategic bottleneck. You are holding national defense assets hostage.
This is where the Defense Production Act comes into play. This is the legal weapon they will use against you. The DPA gives the president sweeping powers to allocate materials, facilities, and services for national defense. It allows the government to prioritize their needs over yours. They will not call it theft, they will call it allocation. They will say that it is your patriotic duty to surrender your silver to keep the country safe from foreign adversaries. They will wrap the robbery in the flag. They will say that by hoarding silver, you are aiding and abetting the enemy. They will make you the villain. And do not think for a second that you can hide from this. This is the most chilling part of the leak I received. The government has been building a database. They call it the Strategic Resource Registry. For the last 5 years, every time you bought silver from a major online dealer, every time you used a credit card, every time you wired money for bullion, that data was logged. The Patriot Act allowed them to monitor financial transactions for terrorism, while today, owning silver is being redefined as financial terrorism against the central bank. They know who you are, they know where you live, and they know exactly how many ounces you bought. If you bought 500 ounces from Apex in 2023, they have the receipt. And when the order is signed, you will receive a letter. It won't be a polite request, it will be a demand. It will say, according to our records, you are in possession of 500 ounces of strategic silver. You are hereby ordered to surrender this material to the nearest Federal Reserve collection point within 30 days. Failure to comply will result in the freezing of your bank accounts, the seizure of your property, and federal prosecution. This is the nightmare of the digital age. In 1933, they didn't have computers. They didn't have credit card trails. People could hide their gold in the garden, and the government had no way of knowing it existed. Today, you live in a digital panopticon. Unless you bought your silver with cash, face-to-face in a back alley with no receipt, you are exposed. The IRS has been hiring 87,000 new agents. Do you think they are just looking for tax cheats? No, they are the enforcement arm of the confiscation. They are coming to audit your physical assets.
And let's talk about the price. This is the sting in the tail. This is the insult added to the injury. When they demand your silver, they will offer to pay you. They have to, under the Fifth Amendment, which requires just compensation for seized property. But who gets to define what is just? They do. They will not pay you the black market price. They will not pay you the true value of the metal in a collapsing dollar scenario. Imagine the street price of silver is $300 an ounce because nobody wants dollars. The government will declare a fixed official price of $30 an ounce. They will say $30 is the fair market value based on the pre-crisis average. They will hand you a check for $30 while the real value is 10 times higher. They will steal 90% of your wealth and call it a fair trade. This is exactly what they did with gold in 1933. They paid $20 when the real value was about to be $35. They are following the playbook line by line. The psychological warfare has already begun. Watch the news over the next few days. You will start to see articles blaming speculators for the high cost of electronics. You will see politicians talking about greedy hoarders who are driving up the cost of green energy and making it impossible for the average American to buy an electric car.
They are preparing the public to hate you. They are manufacturing consent for the raid. They want the average person, the person who has zero savings and zero silver, to cheer when the government kicks down your door. They want the mob to see you as the problem, so they don't look at the real problem, which is their own incompetence and corruption. This is the fourth turning. This is the moment where the social contract shreds. The government has broken its promise to protect your property. In fact, the government has become the primary threat to your property. If you are sitting there thinking this can't happen here, this is America, you are living in a fantasy. It happened here. It happened in the land of the free, and it happened when the government was far less powerful and intrusive than it is today. Today, they have drones, they have AI, they have a digital currency ready to roll out. The confiscation of silver is the bridge to the CBDC.
They need to strip you of your financial independence before they force you into their digital pen. Physical silver is freedom. It is the ability to transact without permission. It is the ability to store wealth outside the system, and that is exactly why they must take it from you. They cannot allow a parallel system to exist. They cannot allow you to opt out of their inflation. If you have silver, you are a threat to their control, and power never tolerates a threat. The knock on the door is coming. It won't be a loud bang in the middle of the night. It will be a polite knock at 9 a.m. It will be two agents in cheap suits showing you a badge and a piece of paper with your name and your purchase history on it. They will smile. They will say they are just doing their job. They will ask you to open the safe. And in that moment, you will realize that the physical metal you thought was yours was never really yours. It was just waiting for them to come and claim it. Unless you take action now, unless you understand that the rules of the game have changed, the legal system is weaponized, the banks are weaponized, and the data is weaponized, you are standing in the crosshairs of the most powerful entity on Earth, and it is hungry, it is desperate, and it is coming for what you have. We are watching the end of private property rights in the West. We are watching the transition to a command economy where the state decides who owns what. The confiscation order is the final nail in the coffin of the American dream. It is the declaration that the individual exists to serve the state, not the other way around. But there are ways to fight back. There are ways to disappear. In the next part of this report, I am going to tell you how to ghost yourself. I am going to tell you how to break the digital chain of custody. I am going to explain the concept of the midnight Barry and how to legally restructure your holdings so that when the agents come, they find nothing but dust. We are going to talk about the boating accident strategy, but not as a joke. We are going to talk about it as a legal defense strategy. We are going to talk about how to move your metal out of the jurisdiction, or better yet, how to make it invisible within the jurisdiction. The list is real, the order is drafted, the clock is ticking. The most terrifying thing about the confiscation is not the violence, it is the silence. You are expecting a SWAT team, you are expecting flashbang grenades and shouting, but that is not how a modern tyranny operates. Tyranny in the 21st century wears a cheap suit and carries a clipboard. Imagine it. It is Tuesday morning. You are drinking your coffee. You hear a knock at the door. Not a pound, just a firm, professional knock. You open it. Two men are standing there. They look like accountants. They show you a badge. It says Department of Homeland Security, Strategic Asset Division. They smile. They are polite. They don't have guns drawn. They have a tablet. One of them looks at the screen and says, "Mr. Smith, according to our records, specifically a transaction dated November 14th, 2024, you purchased 500 American Silver Eagles from JM Bullion using a Visa card ending in 4092. Is that correct?" Your heart stops. You forgot about that purchase. It was 2 years ago. You thought it was private. But they have the date, they have the item count, they have the shipping address. The agent continues,
We are here to collect those assets under the Defense Production Act, Executive Order 14099. Please open your safe. This is the moment of truth. This is where the rubber meets the road. If you open that safe, you are destitute. You are handing over your family's future to a bankrupt state. If you refuse, you are a felon. You are obstructing a federal investigation. You are endangering national security. How do they know? This is the question that haunts every stacker. The answer lies in the Utah Data Center. The NSA has been capturing every single financial transaction in the United States for decades, but they didn't have the AI to process it all until now. They use what are called merchant category codes. Every time you swipe your card, a code is generated. If you buy a coffee, it's one code. If you buy precious metals, it is a specific, flagged code.
They have run a simple algorithm. They selected all transactions flagged as precious metals dated after 2020. That script produced a list. Your name is on that list. Your address is on that list. And the exact weight of your holdings is calculated down to the gram. They know you have it. The burden of proof is now on you to prove you don't have it. This brings us to the boating accident. For years, this has been a joke on the internet. People joked that they lost their guns or their silver in a boating accident. We laughed about it. We made memes about it. But today, I am telling you that the boating accident is no longer a joke. It is a legal defense strategy. But you cannot just say it. You have to prove it. When the agent asks for the silver and you say, "I lost it," do you think he is just going to say, "Okay," and leave? No. He is going to hand you a form. It is called an affidavit of loss. It is a sworn statement under penalty of perjury declaring exactly when, where, and how the assets were lost. He will ask which lake you lost it in. He will ask for the date. He will ask if you filed a police report. He will ask if you filed an insurance claim. If you cannot answer these questions, if you stumble, if you look guilty, they will arrest you for lying to a federal agent. That is a 5-year felony. This is why I told you in the previous video that you need to be smart. If you buried it, you need a cover story that holds up to interrogation. You might say you sold it to a guy on a coin show for cash to pay for medical bills. When they ask which guy, you say you don't know. It was a cash deal, a private party with no receipt. This is the gray zone. Private party transactions in many states do not require paperwork. This is your only loophole. The cash private sale is the only way to break the digital chain of custody. If you cannot plausibly deny possession, they will dig up your backyard. They will bring ground-penetrating radar. They are not playing games. They need that silver for the missiles. Let's talk about the specific lie they will use to justify this. They will not call it confiscation. That word scares people. They will call it patriotic repatriation. They will launch a massive PR campaign.
Hollywood celebrities will go on TV and say they turned in their silver to help build the Iron Dome defense system. They will ask if you did your part. They will frame it as a sacrifice for the greater good. They will ask if you want China to win. They will say if you love America, you will give us your medal. They will create a social stigma. Your neighbors who are broke and hungry because their dollars are worthless will look at you with suspicion. If you have silver, you are hoarding resources while they starve. The government will set up a tip line. They will offer cash rewards for reporting suspicious hoarding. Suddenly, the threat isn't just the agent at the door. It is the lady across the street watching you through her blinds. If she sees you digging in the garden at night, she makes the call. She gets a $1,000 reward in worthless digital credits, and you get a raid. And what happens when they take it? Let's look at the mathematics of the theft. Let's assume the spot price on the black market is $300 an ounce. That is the real price. That is what you can get if you trade it for food or land. The government will set the official exchange rate at $30. They will cite the 2024 average. They will say this is fair market value to prevent war profiteering.
So they take your 100 ounces. The real value is $30,000. The compensation check they give you is $3,000. And that check is taxable. And by the time you cash it, inflation has eaten half of it. You are effectively handing over your life savings for a bag of groceries. This is why you must never, ever comply with the initial request if you can avoid it legally. Possession is 9/10 of the law, but concealment is 10/10 of survival. If they find it, it's gone. If they can't find it, they might find you, they might harass you, but they cannot take what they cannot touch. This is a game of chicken. The government is betting that you are too scared to lie, too scared to hide, too scared to resist. They are banking on your compliance. They rely on the fact that middle-class Americans are rule followers. But the rules have changed. When the rule is robbery, obedience is not a virtue. It is suicide.
You need to understand the scale of the desperation in Washington. I saw a classified report on the strategic materials shortfall. The U.S. Navy is short 40 million ounces of silver just for the current shipbuilding program. The green energy mandates, the solar panels they promise to build, require 100 million ounces a year. The supply is zero. They have two choices: abandon the military and the green agenda, which is political suicide, or take your silver, which is political tyranny. They will choose tyranny every single time. They will rationalize it, they will say it is temporary, they will say it is emergency only. But just like the temporary closing of the gold window in 1971, your silver will never come back. Once it goes into the federal vault, it is melted down, refined, and shot out of a cannon barrel or soldered into a microchip. It is consumed. It is gone forever. The digital trap is closing. The CBDC is the net. The confiscation is the harvest. If you are sitting there with silver you bought online, stored in a safe in your master bedroom, you are a sitting duck. You have a target painted on your back. You need to move. You need to act. In the final part of this series, I am going to give you the Ghost Protocol. I am going to teach you how to wash your digital footprint. I'm going to explain how legally gift or transfer assets to get them off your books before the order is signed. I am going to tell you where to hide it so that even ground-penetrating radar cannot find it. And I'm going to tell you how to trade it in the underground economy without getting flagged by the snitch line. The knock on the door is inevitable. The only variable is what happens when you open it. Will you be the victim who hands over his wealth with a shaking hand? Or will you be the ghost who smiles, spreads his empty hands, and says, "I'm sorry, officers, I wish I could help you, but it's all gone"?
We have arrived at the moment of decision. The warnings have been issued, the documents have been signed, the agents are fueling their cars. The window for easy action has closed, and the window for survival action is closing fast. If you have followed this series, you know the threat. You know that the banks are bankrupt and the government is desperate. They are coming for your silver because it is the only battery that can power their war machine and their digital prison. Now, I am going to hand you the keys to the exit door. I am going to teach you the Ghost Protocol. This is not financial advice in the traditional sense. Your financial advisor will tell you to diversify and hold stocks. Your financial advisor is a part of the system that is trying to consume you. This is asymmetric warfare advice. The goal of the Ghost Protocol is simple. It is to break the digital chain of custody between you and your assets. It is to make you invisible to the sweeping eye of the state surveillance grid. It is to ensure that when the history of this great confiscation is written, you are not listed among the victims, but among the survivors. The first step of the protocol is the decoy strategy.
You must understand the psychology of the confiscation agent. He is a bureaucrat. He has a quota. He has a list of 20 houses to visit today. He does not want to dig up your backyard. He does not want to spend 4 hours interrogating you. He wants a quick win. He wants to check a box on his tablet and go home to watch football. You must give him that win, but on your terms. If you have 500 ounces of silver, do not hide all of it. Keep 50 ounces in your home safe. Leave it there. When the agent knocks, when he shows you the list, you do not deny everything. You look defeated. You look sad. You open the safe and say, "You got me. I have 50 ounces left. The rest I had to sell to pay for groceries during the inflation spike last year. Here is what is left. Take it." You hand over the 50 ounces, you sign his form, he takes the metal, he marks his list as compliant/partial recovery, he leaves. You have paid a 10% tax to save 90% of your wealth. This is the cost of doing business in a tyranny. If you say you have nothing, you trigger a red flag. 0 is suspicious. A small amount is believable. You feed the beast a few scraps so it doesn't eat your children.
The second step is the midnight gardening. We touched on this, but we need to get technical. You cannot just throw a monster box in a hole. Moisture is the enemy. Corrosion is the enemy. But the biggest enemy is technology. The government has ground-penetrating radar. They have metal detectors that can discriminate between ferrous and non-ferrous metals. If you bury a massive pile of silver in the middle of an open field, you are creating a magnetic anomaly that lights up on a scanner like a Christmas tree. You need to use chaff. In military aviation, a pilot drops chaff, small strips of metal, to confuse enemy radar. You must do the same. If you bury your silver in your yard, you must also bury junk, old lawnmower parts, rusty bolts, tin cans. Scatter them at different depths around the target area. When the agent sweeps the ground, his detector will scream everywhere. He will dig up a rusty paint can, then he will dig up a bent rim. After 20 minutes of digging up trash, he will assume his equipment is reacting to junk and he will give up. You hide the needle in a stack of needles. And you must pack it correctly. Go to the hardware store and buy high-schedule PVC pipe, the thick stuff used for high-pressure water mains. Cut it into tube lengths. Put your silver rolls inside. Seal one end with a permanent cap and PVC cement. Drop in a desiccant pack to absorb moisture. Seal the other end. Now you have a waterproof, airtight time capsule. Do not bury it horizontally. Bury it vertically. This reduces the radar cross-section from above. It makes the target smaller. Bury it deep. The frost line is usually 3 feet down. Go 4 feet. This puts it out of range of casual metal detectors. And never ever bury it in a spot that is obvious. Do not put it under the big oak tree. Do not put it under the gazebo. Put it under the doghouse that is full of poop. Put it under the thorny rose bush that tears your clothes. Make it painful to find. Make it disgusting to find. Agents are lazy. Use their laziness against them. The third step is the data scrub. You are on the list because of your credit card. You need to muddy that water. You need to create a paper trail, or a lack of one, that suggests you no longer have the asset. This is where the private sale comes in. In the coming days, before the official order is signed, you might sell a few ounces to a local coin shop or a pawn shop. Get a receipt. Keep that receipt. That receipt is your proof that you are a seller, not a hoarder. It supports your cover story. See, officer, here is the receipt from when I sold silver last month. I told you I needed the money. You use a small, real truth to cover a big lie. But the most critical part of the Ghost Protocol is the end game. Why are we doing this? We are not hiding silver just to look at it. We are hiding it because we know what comes after the collapse. We know that the dollar is dying and the CBDC is a trap. When the new system launches, it will be a digital prison. You will need permission to buy food. You will need permission to travel.
Your money will have an expiration date. Physical silver is the only key that unlocks the prison door. It allows you to transact in the underground economy. This economy is already forming. It is the network of farmers, mechanics, doctors, and tradesmen who realize that paper money is worthless. When the hyperinflation hits, these people will not accept dollars. They will not accept Fed coin. They will demand something real. You will be the banker of your community. When your neighbor is starving because his digital ration card ran out, you will be the one who can buy food from the farmer. When the power grid fails and you need a generator, you will be the one who can pay the mechanic with a silver coin. You are preserving the capital that will rebuild civilization after the reset. This is a heavy burden. It requires discipline. It requires secrecy. It requires you to look your friends in the eye and lie to them about what you have. You cannot be the hero who saves everyone. If you try to save everyone, you will lose everything. You must secure your own oxygen mask first.
Do not wait for the news to tell you to do this. The news is the enemy. The news is the propaganda arm of the confiscation. They will tell you that silver prices are crashing. They will tell you that silver is dangerous. They will try to scare you into selling. Do not listen. The lower they push the price, the more desperate they are. The louder they scream, the emptier the vault is. We are entering a period of history that will be written about for 1,000 years. The collapse of the American empire and the death of the fiat dollar. It will be a time of great suffering for the unprepared, but for the prepared, for the ghosts, it will be the greatest opportunity in generations. You are not just saving money, you are saving the concept of private property. You are saving the legacy of your family. When the dust settles, when the banks are gone and the politicians have fled, the person holding the silver will be the person standing tall. You will have the power to buy land for pennies on the dollar. You will have the power to start businesses. You will have the power to shape the new world. So tonight, do the work. Find the PVC pipe. Find the shovel. Find the courage. Turn off your phone. Leave your electronics inside. Go out into the dark and secure your future. The order is coming. The agents are coming. But let them come. Let them knock. Let them dig. They will find nothing but rust and trash, because you are a ghost, and ghosts cannot be robbed. This is the end of the transmission. I have given you the intel. I have given you the strategy. The rest is up to you. Good luck, Godspeed, and keep your powder dry.